Hi everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, I will show you how you can trade with Python through MetaTrader5. MetaTrader5 has an integration of Python, and it has its own documentation where you can request market data, where you can do your own data analysis, where you can get your account information such as balance and equity, and where you can also send trades to the live market and trade using your algo strategy. The documentation can be found on mql5.com, and if you want to find any specific details about the Python integration, you can find the documentation here and look it up. So what I'm going to show you are the most basic commands and features of the MetaTrader5 library. So for that, we need to import MetaTrader5 as MT. If you don't have it, you can install using pip install MetaTrader5, and I will also import pandas and plotly to do some data analysis and data visualization. Lastly, we will import datetime library to work with datetime objects, so we can request for specific dates, time periods, etc. So let's run the import. And to start MetaTrader5 from Python, you have to use initialize. So if we type mt.initialize, the MetaTrader5 platform should start. Right, so on my side it just did. So now my MetaTrader5 platform is running. Please don't forget that to initialize a platform, you have to download MetaTrader5 first on MQL5. Next thing that we have to do is we have to log in to a trade account. And I have prepared a demo account at IC Markets with this login, this password, and this server. And by typing mt.login and passing these arguments, we will then log in to our trade account. So let me show you how it works. So I'm logged in already, but let's try to log out. So now I'm logged out because I entered wrong credentials. But if I run mt.login with these credentials, I should be able to log in without any issues. So now we see that mt.login works and that we're logged into our account. To get account information, we have mt.accountinfo, and what it does is it will return account specific information such as the login number, the leverage, the restrictions, balance and equity, which server it is on, and even my name. So we see that by typing .accountinfo, we get this data, and when we only want to get specific data for, let's say, just the login number, we can assign login number to accountinfo.login. If we need the account balance, we just select the balance, and if we need the equity, we get the equity. So now we print these values. So login is 506901110. We can check that, and that is correct. The balance is 99,914. We check it is correct, and the equity when we ran this script is 99,922. And that is almost correct. As you can see, I have an open position, so equity has changed during this time, but we see that requesting the account specific information is working. Next up is getting the number of symbols on our platform. So mt.symbolstotal, it will return the total number of symbols offered by your broker that are visible in the MT5 client terminal. So if you run this, we see that the number is 1,773, which is a very big number. So IC Markets is offering a wide range of symbols. And you can find the symbols in your client terminal as well by going to a terminal and going through these symbols. If we want to have the specifications of all symbols, such as the margin requirement, trading hours, such as margin currency and profit currency, contract sizes, we can use mt.symbolsget, and for every symbol here we are receiving data that might be useful for us, right? So we have the we have the things such as symbol name, which is very important, the profit currency, the contract sizes, when the session starts, when the session closes. So whatever you need to get from the symbol, to get data from the symbol, you can find it in mt.symbolsget. If we don't want to get data for all symbols, but just for one specific symbol, we can use mt.symbolinfo and then pass in the symbol name. And if we do that, then we get data only for that symbol. Also, if you don't want it in the MT5 format, as it returns to you something like that, you can use asdict, and it will return a dictionary. So for example, the Euro USD, here we have some details about the symbols, such as, when it was requested, number of decimal digits, the current spread, etc., etc. So we can get all the data that we need on the Euro USD using mt.symbolinfo. Something that you will use very often is symbol info tick, which is this one, and this one will return the current price of the symbol. So if I want to know the symbol prices on Euro USD, here we have the time in Unix timestamp, we have the bid and ask prices. So when you refresh the symbol info tick multiple times, you will always get the most recent price data on that symbol. Now this one is very, very useful. So if we want to get the OHLC data or the candlestick data, we can use mt.copyRatesRange. So what it does is it will return open, high, low, close prices for your symbol, and the parameters that we have to pass is the symbol name, the time frame. In this case, I specified the daily time frame, and the start date time and the end date time. So I'm requesting data starting 2021 this year until now, and I will also plot this data using Plotly, and I will plot the close prices so we can see what the prices look on the chart. So let's do that. So now we see that these are the close prices on EURUSD daily chart, and here we also have the open, high, low, close prices in the pandas data frame. So now what we can do is we can perform data analysis, calculate our indicators, and write our strategies based on this data. To confirm that it works, right, we can also check the close prices in MetaTrader5. So this is what it looks like on in Plotly, and this is what it will look like in MetaTrader5. So let's go to a daily chart. Let's zoom out a bit and go until start of the year of 2021, because that's what we requested. So this is January 2021, and this is now. So we see that we went down, went up, and then back down again. And if we check this in the Jupyter Notebook, we see that the data here is the same as in MetaTrader5. So this one worked. If you're interested in going more into detail and not just look at the OHLC data, but you want to check the actual ticks, so every transactions that took place in MetaTrader5, we can use mt.copyTicksRange, and that will show you the history of all bid and ask prices in the platform. So I run this now, and I request since October 4th, and I'm requesting until now, and this is what it looks like. So we have the tick data on EURUSD, so we know exactly what the spread was, what the bid price was, and what the ask price was. We see that these prices overlay because the spread here is 0, but let's, for example, check the prices during less liquid times, such as after market breaks. So the bid price here is lower than the ask price. But good thing is that IC markets has 0 spread in most cases on USD. That is why we see minimum difference between bid and ask. For example, here we see a slight deviation the bid from the ask. That means that there was a spread on USD. Otherwise, the prices at IC markets are very good. Now we are getting to the interesting part where we can interact the platform in terms of orders, history, and sending trades through the market. So to get the total number of current orders, we can use mt.orderstotal, and that will return the number of open orders. So we see that this returns 1, and if we check the platform, we have 1 buy stop order is pending. So if I close this one, then now it should show 0. It works. Let's try to open or place 2 buy stop orders. So we have 1 buy stop and we place a second buy stop. So now we have 2 pending orders open. So if we go back to orders total, we now see 2 because now we have 2 open buy stop orders. But if you want to get more details about the orders, we can use mt.ordersget, and that will give you the specific details of our orders. So the orders have something like a ticket, when the order was submitted, and we see that it is a stop order on EURUSD, and the price is set at 1.19857, which we can also find here, 1.19857. So next thing is we can also get number of positions. So this means trades that are open and not closed yet in our platform. If we check our MT5 platform, we see that we have 2 lots open on EURUSD, so this should return 1. If we open another order, that means that we're adding a new order, so we have 2 open orders now. Positions total should now return 2. So let's run this again, and we see that we have 2 now. If you want more details about our positions, we can use mt.positionsget, and if you run this, we now see 2 positions, and each position has the details that we need. We see that it is again on EURUSD. One is volume 1, the other is volume 2. So if you need to get more details about your open positions, you can use mt.positionsget. Now we are getting to number of history orders. So these are orders that we sent to the platform in the past. So these are all market orders, limit orders, and if we run this, we see that we have 14 orders that we've placed from this date range. If we check the platform, we can go to history and go to orders, and you will find a list of orders here. So this data you can access with MT history orders total. Again, if you want the specific details of our orders, we can use history orders get. So if you run this, we get all the information about the orders that we've placed in the past. And this data should reflect the same data that you find here in the client platform. Besides orders, we also have something called deals. So the difference between an order and deal is basically an order is basically a request that you send to the broker, and a deal is the confirmation or the transaction. It basically tells you that the position has been opened or closed on your platform. So when you send an order, it will create a deal, and the history of deals or a number of deals, you can get that using mt.historydealstotal. So this account has received 13 deals from the broker, which you can also find in the platform by going to history and look at the deal section. If you want to get the details of our deals, we can use mt.historydealsget, and the exact data of our deals are now found here. So this one is something you should be most excited about, and here I will show you how you can open a trade with Python through MetaTrader5. And to open a trade, we have to create something called a request with certain parameters. So the request in MetaTrader5 should have a data about the action. So if you specify mt.trade action deal, means that you want to trade. Then you want to specify a symbol, the volume, how much of that symbol you want to buy or sell. In type, you specify if you want to buy or sell. In this case, I want to buy 2 lots on EURUSD. I want to buy at the current ask price on the EURUSD, so I use MT symbol info tick on EURUSD and get the ask price of that. For this request, I don't want to place any stop loss or take profit, but if you want to, feel free to add that. If you specify 0.0, it means that it will not have any stop loss and will not have any take profit. Next, we have something called deviation. So when the request is sent, the market price may move and may not be filled for the price that you specify. But if you add a deviation, it means that there is a tolerance for which you want the order to be filled. So if there's any slippage, the deviation tells you, okay, if it's within the deviation, I still want to open that trade. Next is magic. So each order can be identified using a magic number. That means if you have multiple expert advisors or multiple strategies, you can uniquely identify them using this magic number. And if you want to use comments, you can also use them to also check for certain comments that might help you when checking the trades on client terminal. The time in force of this order is good till cancelled, and this is specified by mt.orderTime GTC, and also the type filling that I'm using, and this depends on brokers. Some brokers allow multiple type filling, but at IC markets you have to use immediate or cancel. So the type filling that I'm using here is mt.orderFilling IOC. So this request is a dictionary that we've wrapped, and we have to use mt.orderSend and passing the request as the parameter. So right now we see that we have 2 open positions, so let's close them both. And to also trade through Python, you have to make sure that algo trading is enabled. So we click on algo trading, and if we run this, it should work. Right, so we have an order result. The return code is 10,009, which means it's okay. And here are the specific details that we get from order sent. So we get a deal ID, order ID, and here we see a comment request executed. So this is a confirmation that it works. And if we check our platform, we now see that a position has been opened with Python. Also, you can see that here in the comments, if I hover over this position, you can see Python script placed by expert ID 234000. So that is the magic number and the comment that we're talking about. If I run this cell again, I should see a second position opening, which is the case. So we see that it works. Last thing I want to show you is how to close a position. So to close a position, you also have to create a request dictionary. But to close a position, you simply have to specify the position number, which is added here. And if you want to close a position, so we see that we have 2 buy orders. To close position, we have to sell, and we want to sell using the full volume. And to get the ticket, we can just copy these ticket numbers. Or what we can also do is we can go up here and go to positions get, and we see that we have these positions open. So if I, for example, take this ticket ID and add it here, and now the specifications are the same. You know, we're closing the position, so same volume, instead of buying, we're selling. So if I run this, the position with the ID 1586311130 should now be closed. So let's check this, and we see that we have one position less, which is great. And if I scroll up to positions get, this position should no longer be there. If I want to close this last position, I also have to copy the ticket ID of this one. So let's replace the position with this one. It is success, and if I check the platform, now we have 0 positions open. Alright, so I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about the MetaTrader5 documentation, or any questions how to integrate your Python scripts into MetaTrader5, please let me know in the comments below, and I will be back with another video. Thanks a lot. Bye.